Hello everyone, welcome. This is vlog number one, a bit of a delayed vlog number one. As we know, I've been promising you a vlog over the last few weeks. I got a little bit delayed because I went and hit my head and everything else over the last couple of weeks. But I thought I'd catch up. This is a lazy Sunday and I'm just in a hotel room in London where I've been working this weekend, and it's very nearly checking out time, so I've got to be quite brief. I wanted to do this to just remind you really for this next coming week that I set you a homework task. It's only a very small task, but it's going to be quite important to you over the length of the course, which is to find and think of a piece of music in your repertoire that's got your instrument or voice really right at the forefront of it. If it's not a completely solo piece, then it's probably a chamber music piece, or something which you play a very important part. And it'll be something in your repertoire that you can use as the centerpiece for a lot of your studies in 19th century history over the course of this year. Okay, and that's going to be really quite important. If you can have a think about that and then also bring it along and bring along the best edition that you can find to this next week's class. Because what I want to do is to show you how you can apply a lot of the principles that we've been talking about over the last few weeks to a particular piece of music in your repertoire and make it really relevant to you, make it really useful, and that's going to form the basis of some of your assignments over the course of the year. But more important than that, I really hope it's going to set up a way of thinking for you that will really last you a lifetime, that you can get into further layers of thinking. Because we've talked so far about music which has an emotional connection, and we've talked about emotional connections of composers to their music and also of performers to their music. We picked on a couple of weeks ago, I went around the class and asked for examples of repertoire that you can think of that were emotionally inspired from the composer's point of view. We had Berlioz's Symphonie Fantastique, of course, a programmatic symphony. It has the story behind it and tells us semi-autobiographically about Berlioz's relationship, or about his desires for a relationship with Miss Smiths, and the Irish actress who he eventually marries, and once he's met her quite a few years later. And we had Tchaikovsky's Sixth Symphony, a symphony which is about death, and again is telling the story about death from the point of view of, well, a composer writing it who is really thinking a lot about his own death and is concerned with that. But these are story pieces, and really all of the repertoire that we engage with on quite an emotional level. And often for us as musicians, that's the first point of contact. You know, you pick a piece of repertoire because it just grabs you emotionally. And what I want to do is to use that emotional reaction that gets you engaged in the first place, and then go down the various layers and the various levels of musical understanding and show you how we can make that grow and make it integrate with a much more rigorous study of the music, so that not only do you love the piece of music, but you love the study of that piece of music. And that emotional reaction has to be really the first point of call along quite a long journey that's going to take you to get to the heart of that piece of music and get to know it really, really well. What we've covered so far on the course, I've got a booklet here which is just living in my suitcase at the moment, as these things do. This is actually, I'm not going to give you page numbers because this is last year's copy, and it's changed slightly. I've put some new things in this year. But we talked in the early classes about William Blake's poetry, and the idea that in the 19th century that piece of music which can have at its heart the emotional image, which is the first thing that arrives in the composer's mind actually before the music itself, and that it comes through from instrumental music, which is often regarded as the highest, most genuine point of an emotional response, then to putting words to the piece of music, to singing the piece of music, and then writing it down, which is the furthest away. Also, there's a nice quote there, or a nice passage by Immanuel Kant, the German philosopher, in which he holds actually poetry to be the highest ranking art form, and music second, because music, you can't really nail it down to anything. You can't really tell us exactly what it means because it's so abstract. For you and me, that's probably the thing that actually inspires us the most and brings us to it. The fact that it is so abstract and can mean a whole load of things, whatever we bring to it. So that's the nature of the discussion, and I've put in here a lot of things that I've guided you towards, which we don't have time to read through fully within the classes, so it's really good if you can just engage with that and really find out and follow up with your reading and follow up with what's in there. So that's just about all for this week. Please do have a think about a piece of music which is going to be really important in your repertoire that you can use for your studies over the course of this year, and also please bring along a copy of it, the best edition that you can find. Bring it along this week on Friday. We're also going to have Mark playing the guitar to us, which is going to be quite exciting, and I hope that a lot more of you will be playing and performing in class as the terms go by, just to really hammer home just how important this work is for you, and how it can really engage with your first study activities and make it as relevant to you as possible. Right, that's it. It's really time. I better go and check out now. So I'll see you on Friday. Take care. Bye for now.